Number 6. Predict the charge on the monoatomic ions formed when the following atoms in binary ionic compounds. And then we have A through F, so I'm just going to quickly say A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so we did a very similar question like this one in number 5. So if you want more practice and if you didn't get the full rundown, go see that problem. Okay, now for this one, we always want to find out the charge. Well, in this case, we want to find out the charge of these monoatomic ions. Mon comes from mono, and that means one. So it's one single atom that will form an ion, which is a charged atom. So that's why they're just giving you one element here, because that's why it's monoatomic. And they want to figure out what the charge is for an ionic compound when they make an ionic compound. Remember, in ionic compounds, one atom has to be a positive and the other atom has to be a negative. You'll never see two positives and you'll never see two negatives together. So you'll always see a cation coming together with an anion. The cation always loses electrons, hence why it's positive. And the anion always gains electrons, that's why it's negative. So the cation with its electron will always give it to the anion. Okay, now how do we know the charges? This is something important you guys should memorize. It's the oxidation state trend. All right, so we went into depth greatly on the past couple of questions, starting with number 3, as to why this trend exists, but we'll just say that group 1 is always a +1 charge, group 2 is a +2, group 3 is a +3, group 4 is a +4, and now you start your negatives or your minuses. So group 4 actually could be either a plus or a -4, and then you go back down. So this would be a -3, -2, -1, and 0. This trend exists because everybody wants to be a noble gas. And the noble gases is group 18. So, take oxygen for example. Oxygen has 8 total electrons. And if it has a -2 charge, and remember, negatives mean gain electron. So if it gains 2 electrons, 8 would turn into 10. And look at that, now it becomes neon. So that's the basis behind this whole trend. If we took sodium, for example, sodium has 11 electrons, but it wants to be a noble gas. So plus means that you lost electron. So if it's a +1, that means that you lost 1 electron, and 11 would go down to 10. And oh, 10's over here again, it's neon. So it's not a coincidence that these every atom, basically in the main group, goes back to a noble gas. It's basically the rule. So, let's get to it. Iodine. For A, what would be iodine's charge? Well, iodine is 53 electrons. It wants to be like xenon, hence why it's a -1. It wants to gain 1 electron. So, that's all that is. Box that answer off. Sr, strontium. Sr is over here. It has 38 electrons. It wants to be a noble gas, and the easiest noble gas it would want to be is krypton, because krypton has 36. And that's why it loses 2 electrons, because 38 minus 2 turns into 36. So strontium would be a +2. And it doesn't matter whether you say +2 or 2 plus. It doesn't matter. Either one is correct. K, potassium. Potassium is over here, 19 total electrons, and it's a +1. It lost 1 electron to become argon, or argon-like, 18 electrons. So potassium with the +1. There you go. See how easy this is? I think so. What do you guys think? Next one, D, nitrogen. Nitrogen has 7 total electrons. According to this trend, it wants to gain 3 because it's a minus. And if I gain 3 electrons, 7 becomes a 10. And you're at a noble gas. So this would be a 3 minus or a -3, whatever you choose. That would be the answer for D. Next, sulfur. Sulfur is over here, number 16. It wants to have a charge of -2. It wants to gain 2 electrons because 16 would turn into 18. Oh, look at that. It's going to be a noble gas. So -2. And then last but not least, we have indium. So In, indium is over here, number 49. It wants to lose 3 electrons. And in this case, this is the only one in which it does not follow the trend, right? If I lose 3 electrons, I get 46, which is not part of this trend. However, it will lose basically its s and p orbitals, leaving the d's together. So this has to do with, your orbital diagrams and understanding your sp, d, and f configurations, but always just follow the trend. +3, so that's what it is. All right? So easy as this one. Number 6 is done. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If this helped you out, give this video a like, subscribe if you'd like. I'll be doing all the other questions, so hopefully you'll join me. I'll see you guys all in the next question. Happy studying.